Good evening, boys and girls. I'm going to read you another story. Tonight's story is called Teeny Tiny, and it's by Tommy DiPaolo. Tommy also wrote the book that we read before called Strega Nona, the one with the Italian grandma, and Nona is the grandma word in Italian. This is another book by Tommy DiPaolo and Jill Bennett, and it's called Teeny Tiny. Once upon a time, there was a teeny tiny woman who lived in a teeny tiny house in a teeny tiny village. You can see that. One day, this teeny tiny woman put on her teeny tiny hat and went out of her teeny tiny house to take a teeny tiny walk. When the teeny tiny woman had gone a teeny tiny way, she came to a teeny tiny gate. So the teeny tiny woman, hey, let's do something. I'm going to say, you notice that the words teeny tiny are all the time being repeated? That's one of the ways that we like to write fun books for kids. There's a pattern. So I'm going to stop and pause and see if you can remember, and you can help me say those words together. So the words are teeny tiny. Ready? So the teeny tiny woman opened the teeny tiny gate and went into a teeny tiny churchyard. Good job, teeny tinies. In the teeny tiny churchyard, she saw a teeny tiny bone on a teeny tiny grave, and the teeny tiny woman said to her teeny tiny self, "This teeny tiny bone will make some teeny tiny soup for my teeny tiny supper." Does your grandma ever put a bone in her soup? I like to put ham bones in my soup. And so the teeny tiny woman took the teeny tiny bone from the teeny tiny grave and put it in her teeny tiny pocket and went back to her teeny tiny house. When the teeny tiny woman got to her teeny tiny house, she was a teeny tiny bit tired. So she went up her teeny tiny stairs. Wonder how many times the word teeny tiny are in this book. It's on every single page, and sometimes that's on more than once on each page. She went up her stairs and put the teeny tiny bone into her teeny tiny cupboard and got into her teeny tiny bed. When the teeny tiny woman had been asleep for a teeny tiny while, she was awakened by a teeny tiny voice from the teeny tiny cupboard, and it said, "Give me my bone." Uh-oh. Remember where she got the bone? And the teeny tiny woman was a teeny tiny bit afraid. So she hid her teeny tiny head under the teeny tiny bedclothes and went to sleep again. And when she had slept a teeny tiny time, the teeny tiny voice cried out again from the teeny tiny cupboard, a teeny tiny bit louder, "Give me my bone." This made the teeny tiny woman a teeny tiny bit more frightened. So she hid her teeny tiny head a teeny tiny bit further under the teeny tiny bedclothes. Oh my goodness, it just keeps on going. Teeny tinies, huh? I don't know. Even her friends got in bed with her this time. And when the teeny tiny woman had been asleep again for a teeny tiny time, the teeny tiny voice from the teeny tiny cupboard said a teeny tiny bit louder, Give me my bone. The teeny tiny woman was a teeny tiny bit more frightened, but she popped her teeny tiny head out of her teeny tiny bedclothes and said in her loudest teeny tiny voice, "Take it!" And they did. The end. Teeny Tiny by Tommy DePaulo. Good night.